Hello and welcome to this lecture, and in this lecture we will go ahead and implement the delete functionality. So right now we already know that we have implemented this functionality where you pass in some data to the template and that data gets displayed over here. Now what we want to do is that we want to make sure that whenever we click one of these items right here, we go into the detail page of those items wherein you get detailed information about these food items. So for example, when I go ahead and click on pizza, I should get all the details for this food item pizza. That is, I should get its name, its price, I should also get its description as well. So how exactly can we do that, or how exactly can we implement that particular functionality? Now we already know that whenever you want to display a new view or a new page, you need to go ahead and design a view. So we are going to do exactly the same thing. So what we wish to do here is that we need to create a new view which is called as the detail view. So let's go ahead and do that over here. So I'll just go down here and we'll create a view which is called as detail. So let me just go ahead and type in def detail, and this thing or this view is going to accept two things. As usually, it is going to accept a request, and one additional thing which this view is going to accept is that it's going to accept the ID, which is the item ID. And what do I exactly mean by accepting item ID? So whenever you click one of these items, you are expected to get the details of that item on the next page. So for example, if you click pizza, you should not get the details of burrito on the next page. Instead, you should get details of pizza only. So how exactly do we make sure that Django knows that we have clicked on this item or pizza and not burrito? And we can do that by identifying its ID. So when we click on pizza, Django knows that the ID for pizza is 1, and we actually need to pass that ID to the next page so that the next page is going to only display the details for pizza. And hence we pass in the ID over here, and let's call that ID as item underscore ID. Okay, so for now what we will do is that we will make this view return the particular ID only. So for example, if the user types in the ID as 1, we want to return some response like, okay, you have visited the page for ID 1, or we can say something like, this is item number, and we can specify the item ID over here. So I can type in return HTTP response, and here I can say something like, this is item number, or let's say ID, and then I can type in %s, and we are going to pass in the item ID here by typing in the %sign item underscore ID. So we simply take this item ID and display it over here. So this is not our final detail view. This is just for the sake of an understanding, and we are going to modify this when we go ahead in this particular lecture. Okay, so now once our detail view is ready, you know what we do when we go ahead and create a view. You need to attach the view with a particular URL. So let's go into the urls.py file, which is this file right here, and now let's go ahead and create the URL pattern for that particular view. So even before we do that, you first need to understand how this view works. So this view works when we go ahead and type in /food/. And now for the detail view, we want to make it work when we type in /food/ and the ID. So the ID of the food might be 1, it might be 2, or it might be 3. So we want to design a URL pattern which handles a request which looks something like this. So how exactly can we do that? So instead of accepting something empty over here, we need to create a path which is going to accept an integer. So we need to specify that we need to accept an integer, and that integer is nothing but the item ID. So I'll pass in item ID in here because this number right here is nothing but the item ID. And then we give a slash here, give a comma, and the view which we are talking about is the details view. So we type in views.detail, name equals detail. Just make sure to have a comma at the end and you are now good to go. So just make sure that the server is up and running. And now what you can do is that in order to test this, if this thing works, you can type in food/1 and you should get this is the item number or ID 1. Now if you go ahead and type in food/2, you should get this is item number or ID 2. When you go ahead and type this thing as 3 or 23, you should get that this item number is 23. So that means a part of our detail view is working. So what we wish to do now is that instead of getting these random numbers in here, we actually want to display the details of those specific items. So for example, when I go ahead and type in food/1, I don't want to see this output right here, but instead what I want to see is that I want to see the details of the item whose ID is 1. So we are going to implement this rest of the functionality in the upcoming lecture. So hopefully you guys be able to understand how we have created this view right here, which is the detail view, and how we have configured the URL for that particular view in the urls.py file. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.